Hello everyone, and welcome back to the 7th IESF World Championships here in beautiful Seoul, South Korea. I am Artosis, and it is now time for our Archon show match in StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. I am joined, of course, on stage by 4 players that need no introduction. The current world champion, SOS, the best Terran in the world, Maru, of course, the runner-up and former world champion in life, and the man toss himself, Zest. And we're going to go ahead and ask a few questions here before we start off this awesome Archon show match tonight. So, first question that I want to ask over here to SOS and to Maru is, what are your impressions of Legacy of the Void so far compared to Heart of the Swarm?
첫 번째 질문을 하겠는데요. 김유진 선수한테. 군단의 신장을 지금 현재 나온 공허의 유산과 비교했을 때 어떤 차이점이 있는지.
군단의 심장은 제가 몇천 게임을 해봤기 때문에 모든 것을 다 이해하고 있었고 그만큼 쉬웠는데 이거는 새롭게 시작하는 게임이라서 좀 힘들긴 한데 신유닛이 많아서 그래도 재미는 있는 것 같아요.
Apparently, I've been playing a lot of Heart of Swarms, so I'm aware of all the units, so it was easy for me to adapt it. But now we have new units on a Legacy of Void, so it's kind of hard, but still I'm adapting the game, and also it's also fun to have new units playing in the game.
All right, and I'd also like to go ahead and ask that question over on this side, Life and Zest. I know you guys were just at BlizzCon, maybe you've been playing not as much Legacy of the Void as some other pros that didn't make it so far, but how do you guys feel about Legacy of the Void compared to Heart of the Swarm?
이번에는 주성우 선수한테 질문하겠는데요. 군단의 심장을 이제 공허의 유산에 비교했을 때 본인은 어떻게 생각하시는지?
좀 군단의 심장 같은 경우는 좀 그 전투 한 방에 승패가 좀 갈렸는데 공허의 유산은 전투를 이렇게 계속 하는 구도여가지고 보는 입장에서도 더 재밌는 것 같아요.
The Heart of Storm is more like one big battle that will actually decide which players actually win the game. But Legacy of Void, it's more like small and lots of battles, and it will take over and over, and it'll keep going, and that's why it's more fun in that way.
Well, that's a pretty awesome thing to hear about Legacy of the Void and the future of StarCraft 2. Jumping over to Maru now. Maru, in this Archon match, how did you guys decide who's going to take care of what in the game? You know, you're known for your aggressive micro, SOS known for his mind games and strategies. Who's going to be doing what during this Archon match?
조성주 선수한테 질문인데요. 이번에 집정관 모드 하면서 각자 김유진 선수랑 어떤 역할을 맡았는지 집정관 모드에서.
일단 유진이 형이 생산을 하고 제가 컨트롤을 하기로 했어요.
Well, SOS will be handling macros, and I will be handling micro.
Well, I have to check then on the other side. Life, are you going to be going ahead with the micro while Zest macros up, or did you guys have some other way to approach this match?
이승현 선수한테 질문하겠는데, KT도 그런 식으로 역할을 분담을 했는지, 생산이랑 컨트롤을 나눠서 역할을 분담을 했는지.
네. 서욱이 형이 컨트롤을 하고 제가 생산을 하기로 했어요.
Zest will be doing the micro, and I'll be doing the macro. That's my role.
All right, wasn't exactly expecting that, but should be fun to see. One last question for both sides here. SOS Maru, you know, you're playing against two of the best players in the world here that are combining as one. Where are you going to find weaknesses that are going to allow you to win this game?
이건 두 팀 모두에게 적용되는 질문인데요. 일단 김유진 선수부터 상대의 어떤 허점을 찔러서 이번 경기를 이길 건지, 약점이라고 할 수 있을 만한 KT의 약점.
딱히 약점은 보이지 않는데 그냥 저희가 더 잘해서 이기면 될 것 같아요.
I don't see any weakness in KT, but since we are better, we're going to win.
All right, so since they're better and going to win, how are you guys going to be able to pull this out? He says that you guys don't have weaknesses. Do they have any?
약점은 없는데 뭐 지네어 팀이 무조건 이긴다고 하는데 주성 선수 어떻게 생각하세요?
일단 조성주 선수가 컨트롤을 워낙 잘해가지고 일단 유진이 생산력에 차질을 좀 줘야 될 것 같아요.
Well, Maru has a really good micro, so that I understand, but I'm pretty sure the SOS has a bad macro, so we're going to hit that weakness.
All right, excellent. Well, that's all the questions I have for you guys. I'm sure this is going to be a fantastic match, so please go ahead, shake hands, and let's get into this first Archon match here in Legacy of the Void in South Korea.
Welcome guys, this is the IESF 7th Esports World Championship Archon mode show match with KT Rolster's Zest and Life against Jinner Green Wings, SOS and Maru. These are the best players in the world. I cannot wait to watch this match.
Oh my god, it's going to be an absolutely awesome match, and I'm sure a lot of people are wondering what races are they going to play? Well, here it is up on your screen. A TVZ to start, ZVP next, and then a PVT to end it. And of course, with 2 players in each team, they don't actually have every race represented for each side. So some of these matches, someone's going to be off racing pretty hard on.
Yeah, and that's the very first match. Terran versus Zerg, both teams off races.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Pinned up against each other.
Okay, I like that.
I am really curious who's going to take that.
Yeah. I don't know. How do you see this match going, especially once you heard who's actually microing, who's macroing for both sides?
I honestly don't know. Like, SOS is such a particular style, and it's so unique from everybody else. I'm not really sure how he's going to synergize with Maru. Like, Maru's control is impeccable, but SOS, he's so unique. So I'm not really sure how that's going to play in the Archon mode show match.
Yeah.
Are they...
I agree with
is
you
that
completely
strength?
on this.
Is that a weakness? I don't really know.
SOS's strength is that he thinks about the game in a completely different way than anyone else, and like a way that literally only he can think about it, only he can do it. So how does that synergize with someone else that plays it completely differently than he does? I'm not really so sure, but Maru's micro is pretty insane, and I was a little bit surprised actually to hear that Zest is going to be microing Life macroing on the other side. What about you?
That surprised me too. Like, Life is known for his Zergling micro, but for the most part, I don't know. You think about it, I would kind of expect that to go the other way.
Yeah, I always think of Life, I guess probably because he used to be such an aggressive Zerg, as someone that you want to see microing all over the place, making sure that he can find ways in and whatnot. But since he joined KT, he has become a very strong macro Zerg as well. And you can't really say anything wrong about Zest's micro.
Yeah.
So
he's one of the best Protoss players in the world. Of course, he's going to have some of the best control in the world. So I'm not really sure. I feel like, honestly, I'm rooting for Jinner Green Wings, but I feel like KT Rolster is going to take it.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling the same way just because I don't understand how it's going to go. Like, when Maru goes back to his base, is he going to see a really weird set of units that SOS has cooked up in his head that he thinks that, like, oh no, this is exactly what we need, Maru, and Maru's like, wait, where's the Marauders?
Yeah, we may get some situations like that. And on the other hand of things, like, Zest is one of the best macro Protoss players in the world, and his control is impeccable. But Life is kind of on the same thing. They kind of have like a same stylistic. They both have impeccable micro, and they're also really well known for that incredible macro. So on the other hand, where like Maru is definitively like the best micro Terran, and SOS is the Mind Games Protoss.
Yeah.
KT Rolster, they feel like, I don't know, they feel like they're going to work so well together.
Yeah, I definitely
really
do
gonna
agree.
synergize.
The only thing I could see going wrong is when they're playing Zerg, if Life is like, okay, yeah, no, we already have 12 drones. Like, let's just, here's a bunch of speedlings. Go kill him, Zest. And Zest is like, wait a minute, only you can make this work, Life.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty interesting seeing how they divvy this up. But
all right, well, this is going to be a really fun match, guys. Make sure that you get out there on your social media and let people know that this is going on, because it's not every day you get to see 4 of the best players in the world. Like, these guys are absolutely 4 of the best players in the world. It is 2-time world champion SOS, 1-time world champion Life, runner-up to this
on
year.
the stage, we have the 3 previous world champions from the 3
Oh my
previous
God.
years. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. We have so many championships on the stage. Their trophies would fill up those booths. So, I mean, it's an insane match. And see these guys actually pair up and how they're going to go together. You know, Archon definitely a format that everyone's really excited about right now in
And
StarCraft
it's also
2.
very different from what programmers are used to.
It really is. Like, you see really different types of strats popping out too, because you can do so many micro-intensive things. You can do so much more harassment, and that changes the whole dynamic of the game.
Yeah, and even for me, like the first games that I played Archon mode with teammates, it was so bizarre, just completely trusting somebody else to do something completely different. And communication is so important within an Archon mode team. So I'm sure these players have been doing practice games, preparing, having good strategies already prepared.
Yeah.
And
if they didn't, they're going to be in trouble because, trust and communication are two things that StarCraft players are sorely lacking, and this is a
One
very
versus one
solitary game.
Yeah.
Like, you sit there all day practicing by yourself, of course, against your friends and your practice partners, but it is definitely a game where it's not like a League of Legends game, also in IESF, where you're actually always talking and trusting other people to do their job. You have to do everything yourself, so hopefully they put in a lot of practice for this.
And honestly, even if they hadn't, I think this would be some of the best games we're going to see anyway.
Well, hopefully we'll get into this first game pretty quickly. It is going to be Orbital Shipyard to start off on, and it was a TVZ. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good macro map, but these
It's a
are
very
their
good
off
macro
races. Are we going to see cheese out of them right off the bat because they're not used to playing these races?
Well, it's their off races, but we're talking about two players on each side that have the best teams in the world.
Yeah.
So even if it is their off races, I'm sure their teammates have helped them prepare special strategies for each of these maps.
Yeah, and I mean, the amount of units that they're going to have and how well those units are going to be microed, it almost doesn't even matter what you make as long as it's something, like, okay, let's just make some Roach Ravager, and all right, Marines and Medivacs, let's do it. And these guys are going to have some fantastic plays with those.
Yeah, I'm certain of that, but, SOS macroing, anything can happen.
That's funny that they do call him out on that. I mean, it's not that he's bad at macro, guys. He's definitely better than anyone you've ever met at macro. But when you put him next to someone like an Innovation or a Zest, let's say, it doesn't seem like he's quite there with that macro. He wins through other ways.
And it's his mind games, and I'm really interested in seeing how that plays out in Archon mode. Because in Archon mode, as opposed to StarCraft 2 1v1, like StarCraft 2 1v1, these players are so quick, like 200 APM, 300 APM. But when you combine them together, and you hit the 400, 500, 600 APM, things can get really crazy. Like the ceiling of what is possible just rises so much.
It certainly does. Like, think of the best Marine splits you ever saw. If Maru and SOS both go up to split Marines at the same time, it's basically going to be like that game you saw with Maru splitting Marines, but even more Marines split. Like, let's say 30% more split. 30% more splittage is a lot more splittage.
It's a lot more splittage.
Well, hopefully this match will get started pretty quickly here. The studio has really filled up. People very excited for this match. A lot of people have been down here waiting all day.
Yeah, this is a pretty packed crowd.
Yeah. But going to be a lot of fun to see this. Of course, IESF, a tournament that I have gotten to cast several times in my career so far.
And
always a blast. I was so happy to hear it was going to be in Seoul this year. I live like 30 minutes from here, so
I'm like 40 minutes away.
yeah, it's a nice little train ride down, and a lot easier than getting on an airplane and flying across the world. Well, hopefully we'll have them getting into that game. It looks like they are getting ready now, so some of them starting to join in, and we'll get right into that. But I got to ask, State, have you played a lot of Archon mode yet?
Very few games, maybe 5 or 10. But I have watched on Crank's stream him play with MMA and him play with True, and it's some of the most entertaining games I've ever seen on any stream ever. Like one particular game, you would see things like swarm host drops. You would see
swarm host drops.
Swarm host drops. You don't see that very often.
No,
do you?
I don't think I've ever seen a swarm host drop.
But strategies like that, they're possible. Anything is possible in Archon mode. It's really crazy what you can do when you get two really good players together.
What do you think is going to be the most important aspect here? Is it micro or is it macro? Because with great micro, you can tear your opponent apart before the amount of units really matters, right? But having more units is also very good.
I think they're both critically important. But as Zest was saying, in Legacy of the Void, it's a lot, unlike Heart of the Swarm, it's a lot more about battles that are happening and harassment that's happening over the course of the entire game, as opposed to one big fight.
That was a glowing endorsement right there.
Yeah, definitely. And also in that sense, if you think about it, micro becomes so much more important in terms of who can unlock the most potential out of their units. Like who is going to micro the warp prisms to get the extra 4 or 5 SCV kills, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true.
I think macro is definitely going to be important, but we think about StarCraft 2 as a really macro, all mechanics, workers, bases, that kind of thing. But I feel like in Archon mode, micro takes such a big center stage as well. More so than in almost any 1v1 game.
Oh, certainly, I would have to agree with you. And the multitasking is going to be absolutely off the hook here. Like, we are, things like Medivacs, Warp Prisms, Speed Zerglings, Mutalisks, these are going to be the units that are really, really important here, where you get out these active units that your micro user can just make run around the map, get a lot of damage done. And that's going to be hard for them to, you know, not step over each other while they try to defend against it.
Yeah, you need to have a lot of trust in your partner.
Yeah, you certainly
a lot of trust.
I'm just wondering if, like, if I were playing this, I feel like I'd be like, oh god, no, this is happening. I'd just immediately jump over.
That
and
was
try
the
to
problem
help.
that I had when I first started playing Archon mode. Is like, even if you want to trust your opponent, it's not your natural reaction to be like, oh, my workers are dying. It's
like,
fine.
yeah, it doesn't matter
It'll
if
be
I'm
taken care of.
Yeah.
That doesn't typically.
If I'm attacking, even if I'm the attacker, I think if I catch an Oracle running into the mineral line, I'm going back there no matter what. You know, I am not letting that Oracle.
Yeah.
I don't. You know, I'd probably grab the SCVs, go in a different direction than my opponent or something, or my teammate. But definitely, it'll be very interesting to see. I wish that we could have like different color grab boxes.
Yeah,
To see
unit
who's
selections.
controlling what. I would love to see something like
That
that,
would be pretty awesome.
introduced in the future in Archon mode. But
Especially in those hectic situations where both players are trying to do crisis management. Say, if an Oracle is coming in, both players are trying to control the SCVs, they're running in opposite direction.
oh, absolutely.
That kind of thing would be fun.
All right. Well, it looks like we are finally getting ready to get this game started.
I am so excited.
Oh, I know, man. KT against Jinair. Pretty awesome. World champion versus the guy he beat.
You know, it's really funny because I heard a while ago when this was announced, this show match was announced, I thought, wow, I really want to see this.
Yes.
And then here I am a few days
Here
later.
you are
actually
casting
seeing
it.
Wow. It's such a treat.
Indeed it is. Well, it looks like we're going to go ahead and jump into this first game. Down here in the bottom left from KT, it is none other than Zest and Life.
The crowd is very excited.
As they should be.
Zest looking very happy. I see why.
And their opponents in the top right, it is from Jinair Green Wings, Maru and SOS. These guys already having a lot of fun in this match.
Well, the micro players in the early stages of the game, they don't have too much to do.
No, they really do not. It's like, could you give me a scout SCV, please? I'd really like to go over there and get something done. But especially with Zerg here, look, they're just going for a fast expansion. Okay, I'm not surprised about this. I think most games we're going to see things like Speedlings opening, Adepts opening, and Reapers opening, just so that the micro player can get some sort of something done.
Yeah, being able to unlock the potential in like any of the units in the early game is such a big part of Archon mode. So I really doubt we're going to see like completely straight up macro kind of openings or completely straight up micro kind of all in.
Yeah, I think something like double hatchery before spawning pool is not going to be the way to go about it.
Oh my god, these guys are having so much fun too.
They are just laughing already. Having a good time here today in this Archon show match. Well, we do have that first Reaper on the way. A lot of gas being gathered up by our Zerg players, so looks like Jinair going to go ahead and get that Zergling speed right off the bat.
Yeah, and as soon as Zergling speed completes, this Reaper house is going to be pretty much shut down. So Zest and Life, they have a really short window where they can try and get a lot of damage done.
All right, well, here we go with that Reaper. Classic. Hide those faces. All right, so we do have Zergling speed, I believe, on the way now. And there's enough Zerglings here that this Reaper shouldn't be able to get any real kills yet.
Yeah, there's a grenade. A little bit of damage to drones.
Yeah, a little bit of an explosion there, pushing those drones back. But the grenade only does 10 damage, so it's not a big deal if one hits. But if he starts stacking a few, that could become a problem. Zest has pretty good Reaper micro, I have to say.
I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah.
For a second, I thought that was life controlling it, like a Ling.
Well, right now we see, I guess Maru's probably... Here's a question for you. Does the micro player use the queens on defense, or does the macro player use the queens on defense?
Macro player.
So is the micro player literally just moving the scout overlord right now?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's hard to say.
Oh, Evolution Chamber coming right up here for Maru and SOS here on Jin Air. That means that they're probably going to go for a very quick Zergling drop.
Yeah, and it's funny, like in Heart of the Swarm, you'd see an Evolution Chamber, you're like, oh, he's going to get quick up, or he's gonna go play really safe and try and get into the mid game.
Yeah.
And then Legacy of the Void, you see an Evolution Chamber come down, and it's like, oh, he's going to be really aggressive, really fast.
Yeah.
So looks like we will be seeing a Ling drop, but these Hellions moving across the map.
All
Are
right,
they
we'll
going to catch it?
Ooh. Well, it looks like they might catch this Reaper. No,
Oh, no way.
Ship's
he
passing in
saw
the
it,
night
he
here. The
saw it.
Reaper does turn around and actually start attacking, but not enough Lings there to actually deal with those Hellions. These Lings going to try to distance themselves and maybe go on that Overlord now.
Yeah, but doesn't look like they're going to make it.
Oh, yeah. Way too much damage done already.
Yeah, this is really good for Zest in Life.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, looks like there's some disagreements on these teams as to what's going on. I think right now we actually have a little bit of disappointment there in how those Lings were controlled.
Shobo.
Control equals Maru. Easy.
Oh my god,
Right.
look at these APM tabs. Resisted life 600.
Oh, man.
Completely insane.
Well, right now we have a lot of Hellions up there. That's a
Oh,
problem.
the Ling drop. The Ling drop actually happened.
He actually did sneak these in, but it looks like this is going to be dealt with.
Yeah,
and
did they get even one drone kill? I don't think they did.
Well, Life's the one back there on defense, so his mic was just fine on defending. And in the meantime, we have a lot of damage being done here by Zest with these Hellions.
And one queen going down. Another queen might go down.
Yeah, look at this. He's utilizing that ramp just beautifully so the Zerglings cannot attack, and 2 queens already taken down.
This is so much damage. Maru and SOS, their Ling drop failed. They lost 2 queens. It looks like Zest and Life have complete control of this game so far.
I tell you what, for right now, Zest using those Hellions, I'm wondering if he is thinking about maybe switching races coming up here. That was some good micro on that ramp.
Some really good micro.
Now, right now, we have a lot of Zerglings out there on the map. We do have a couple Banshees that have been produced, so these are going to start flying in right now. A lot of damage could be done. Cloak is done, but we do have Spores here, so it looks like not too much damage should come from this Banshee.
Yeah, Maru and SOS really well prepared for this with Spores. Maybe not at the third base, but they've been in dire straits trying to get that third base running.
Well, a few drones going down here and there. About 5 killed off so far, and that's pretty good, and it's not over yet. So
yeah,
another Zergling drop is going to be coming up. Oh, this one's a pretty sneaky one, going back towards that back natural.
That's so many Hellions. You know, if I'm Maru and SOS seeing this, I'm gonna think they're going for a bio play or mech play. But they're throwing down 4 more barracks. So
Well,
this is almost like an SOS level.
yeah,
mind game of opening.
Quite the mind game, but look at this. I'm sure SOS wanted this to happen with the Zergling drop in the back. Very SOS move here, getting these Zerglings in, and there's just nothing here to defend right now. These Zerglings are going ham.
Yeah, the first few groups of Zerglings. Oh, there's another one in the main base. The first few Zergling drops really didn't get that much done, but so many SCVs are going down now.
Life is like, oh no, I'm losing all my SCVs.
Yeah, I'm so happy.
Well, having a lot of fun here, but Maru just kind of playing Zerg like he plays Terran. Drops all over the place right now, really doing a lot of harassment damage.
Zergling's still in the main base.
Look at this. The Banshee teaming up with these Hellions right now, dealing a lot of damage, but with this many Roaches coming up, it looks like he will have to run.
Yeah, these Roaches are definitely going to push it back. But right now, actually, after that Ling drop, 25 SCVs killed. 25.
Oh my. That is way too many here.
That's really surprising.
If I'm
result, to be
Zest, I'm
honest.
very disappointed right now in life.
Oh, man. This went from Zest in Life being in like an absolutely dominating position, completely controlling the game, to really a tough spot.
Well, look, during the attack phase of this, like during the offensive micro, everything has been going very well for Zest. The Cloak Banshees maybe didn't get as many drone kills as he wanted, but he killed off a lot of queens, a lot of units, did get some drone kills, whereas Life has lost a lot of SCVs for them right now. So it's really up to Zest to kind of carry them through enough that Life can recover economically.
Yeah, the worker deficit is about almost 20 right now, but with Terran, that's not quite a big deal with 3 command centers throwing down mules. So actually, after both players' openings doing so much aggression, trading so many blows, they're actually really even going into the mid game.
Yeah, certainly the case. Now, we do have a Spire coming up here for our Zerg team, and of course, Mutalisk is going to be another one of those great active units that you can be flying around the map, always utilizing as that attacking player that Maru is. And of course, Maru, having played so many TVZs, he is going to know better than just about anyone where he can actually go in and damage a Terran.
Absolutely, and that's third base now coming up. Lots of Marines and Marauders coming out, possessing Might. And I'm actually really interested in seeing how good his splitting is.
Yeah.
The Hellion and the Reaper control was not spot on, but
Yeah.
splitting is an entirely different beast.
Oh, it certainly is. Splitting your Marines against Banelings is something that's very difficult, but will there be Banelings? I think that that's actually a really good point that you bring out, because I think that they should just go for Banelings knowing that Zest has never split Marines before.
But after seeing the control earlier, I don't know if that's quite a fair call, considering that's specifically what he has to focus on doing.
Yeah, that is true.
On the other hand of things, like if Zest is actually spot on with his control, we have an engagement here. Ravager shots coming down.
Yeah, Corrosive Bile actually hitting a Marine there. Here we go, a big stim here from Zest, moving in, trying to attack into Maru's Ravagers here, running away against those Corrosive Biles. Nice micro here, nice zoning with this Zerg team. Keeps on landing those Biles on that ramp, forcing him to stay down or take a lot of extra damage.
Yeah, that ramp is such a hard position to break with Ravagers out on the map.
Right now, he is going ahead and getting more and more upgrades. That Baneling Nest is on the way, so a really good call there from our Zerg team, I think. Janair doing a good job of holding on, but right now it's 3 base against 3 bases. That's not a place you want to be for very long as Zerg.
And here's another engagement coming down. The Marines and Marauders microing back from the Zerglings. And, oh man, this Zerg army is so powerful right now. I think those Zerglings actually have pretty good upgrades, don't they?
Yeah,
At least +1 attack.
Yeah, they certainly do, and they were actually working on +2 carapace, I believe, too. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Looks
Just
like
finishing.
very good upgrades and some corruptors on the way. That's really going
That
to help
is-
him to deal with the drops.
It's also really surprising. Typically, you would expect Mutalisks to be made, but in this case, I wonder if they're going to try to do some little tricks with the Corruptor's new ability.
Oh, yeah, that's right, actually. Corruptors can deal a lot of damage to buildings nowadays, so that could be something that they're considering.
You know, with SOS on Macro, that is certainly the kind of thing I would expect him to try to do.
Yeah. Right now, Maru is waiting on Mutalisks, and SOS is like, hey, here's some Corruptors. These are better than Mutas now, don't worry.
Big drop coming to the main base.
Well, looks like he's going to come up here and be able to clean that up relatively easily, and with these Corruptors, he's going to be able to chase back these medevacs.
And he can't get out.
And it looks
Can
like
he?
Zest is actually staying a little bit longer than he should, really.
Yeah. That
Wow.
was pretty rough.
Yeah, that was kind of a big error there by Zest to lose that many medevacs, trying to get his Marines out of there, but he will escape with some of them, it looks like.
Yeah, really close call.
Well-
I was actually expecting more of the medevacs to go down when I saw that Corruptor count.
No, we do have Baneling speed on the way, but a huge move out here. Zest getting ready to go across that map. Life has made him a really sizable army considering how many SCVs he lost early on.
Yeah, these past 3 or 4 minutes, it seems like Maru and SOS have had like complete control over the fights. Zest and Life are microing with so much less than them, but this is a huge army coming out. Life really showing his macro with Terran.
That's right. They are actually up by over 10 supply right now, which is kind of surprising how many SCVs were lost. But look at this. Now picking up those tanks in siege mode in these medevacs. It's a really powerful new thing from Legacy of the Void. Can avoid a lot of shots, and especially when they don't have anything long range to deal with this, you can kill a lot of Banelings with those.
Ravager's trying to zone out the bio. These Corruptors are going to be really useful against the medevacs with oh no, not if he loses them.
Not like that. Oh.
Oh, Maru.
Maru's like, oh, wait a minute. And then, oops.
These don't have the range of Vikings.
No, they certainly do not. Losing quite a few there, and it looks like we are going to have a big battle going on right now. Bunch of Corruptor Corrosive Biles coming down. Going to be able to get some pretty good hits there, but it looks like he did lose almost every Zergling and Baneling so far.
Yeah, some big trades happening. Even more bio coming, but the siege tank count is down to 1, I think.
Oh, it looks like one more on that high ground.
One more on the
Couple
high
siege
ground.
tanks. A lot of medevacs still up there. We're in a big Terran army still, really, whereas Zerg having a little bit of a harder time getting their army back up.
Yeah, Terran's still up 10 supply, and I think this is Maru and SOS trying to fake out a drop, but I don't know if Zest and Life are going to buy it.
That's totally SOS's type of move. But he is absolutely not going to buy it. And it looks like some good corrosive vials do go down. Pushing back this push once again. Zest on the retreat, going to go ahead and lose all these siege shanks. And it looks like some medevacs as well.
They're so low. So low hit points.
A lot of damage done there by Maru to that army of Zest. And the supply getting tied up once again.
Yeah, both players now on 4 bases. These overlords just kind of hanging out in the Terra Naturals for dropping creep in the main.
Oh man, you can absolutely tell what SOS is doing here. It's actually so funny.
Yeah. I'm just imagining Maru in the booth like, what are you doing this? What are these overlords?
Why are we
like,
supply
he can't build any supply depots if I drop creep in his base.
That's a great way to think about it. It does definitely sound like something a Zerg SOS would ever do. Yeah, you can't build anything right there, Terran.
Absolutely. We do have mutas out on the map now. Only 6, so not a huge muta switch, and there's a turret already at 4th base, but we'll see if Maru can get some damage done. And these mutas actually just missing.
Oh, that would
very, very low medevacs flying out across the map.
That would have been huge if they caught that. With one missile
really
turret
huge.
here, they can't completely stop mining here. They can interrupt it a little bit, but that base is really important right now for KT.
Yeah, this is a really big drop coming in the natural net. At the same time, Zest and Life are going to go push the Zerg 4th base. Really spreading Maru and SOS thin here.
Yeah, this is really far away from where their army is, and with that other group of units over near their 2 of expansions, they have to be very careful about how they split everything up. They do chase this out. Oh, most of the medevacs going down. A great defense, but they will go ahead and lose this 5th base in the top left.
And it looks like they're going to try and drop the 4th base, but I don't know if this is the best decision considering the natural's already been dealt with so quickly. And that's, oh, so many banelings.
Oh, indeed it is. Well said, Stave, but it looks like they will go ahead, clean everything up here. The Muta's going after this medevac, not quite getting it.
And it's so important to the Terran player right now that they retain their medevac count. They have lost so many medevacs. I think right now Terran actually really wants to be in a position where they have both medevacs and liberators. They're starting liberator production now. But all these little skirmishes, they're trading evenly, but they're trading units that are really hard to replace, the medevacs.
Yeah, that's actually something very important to mention here. You know, the medevacs only come out of the starport. They're way more expensive than a lot of these other units. It's really the unit that you have to keep alive during the game, and they've lost a lot of them so far here. But, you know, at least they denied that 5th base, and it's 4 bases against 4 bases here in a TVZ.
I wonder if that's SOS or Maru the dropships.
We're going to go ahead and pretend that this is SOS. This is like StarCraft fan fiction right now.
Oh, so much fun.
Well, looks like some great defense there against the empty overlords.
And at the same time, the Zerg player gets supply blocked from that.
Of course. I knew that was eventually going to happen here.
Oh, we have it. Oh, this is what it was. It was a complete mind game. All those empty overlords, and now we come within the complete drop.
Well, the full one is going to come in here, and that's a lot of SCVs that were actually left here.
Yeah, and those are very highly upgraded Zerglings. This drop has the potential to do a lot more damage than the first one.
All right, let's see what he can get done. In the meantime, another drop here in that back natural where the hatchery is being remade. SCV's starting to fall here.
Yeah, still no reaction, just now pulling.
Yeah, a little bit slow there on Life's End, who is doing the macro here portion for KT down in the Terran base.
Yeah, now in the game, the worker count has a differential of 1.
Oh,
so
wow.
This is actually so even. It's so close. And losing that dropship, the army supplies are only 20 apiece. This is...
Yeah, this is becoming a very scrappy game very, very quickly. And
oh, they have Widowmine burrow speed. I want to see some Widowmine drop.
Oh, man. That would be awesome. Right now, though, we do have some Liberators out. The Mutas do get to pick one off. Liberators can be very good against Mutalisks, but you need a higher number than that.
Oh, we have a Bailing drop coming in at the same time.
Well, looks like right now we do have that 5th base up and mining for Jin Air Green Wings. Definitely very important that they keep that up. They need that extra income over their opponents here if they're to win this game, because the supply lead actually does go to KT right now.
And at the same time, Zest and Life floating their command center and transferring their SCVs over to the new base, and it is really hard to hit fast medevacs with Corrosive Bile.
Indeed it is.
Oh, those Banelings!
Wow.
So many going down.
Really good Widowmine shots here. Does have one left alive, and a hive is being made now here for our Zerg team, so definitely could see some Vipers and Ultralisks coming to this game.
But this is a huge army coming out from the Terran player. I don't even know if it can get that point. So many of those Banelings went down, and those are actually going to be really critical to this upcoming fight.
Indeed.
Oh,
look at that.
Only 4 SCVs, but...
It was a cool idea.
It was a cool idea.
It's something that SOS probably thinks is really good. All right, well, right now we do have a big split here of what's left of this Zerg army. It's still quite a high supply, but he's got to be very careful. on how he goes ahead and utilizes this. We do have Liberators in there, so if these turn into Liberation mode, that's going to be really hard for anything to run through. They deal so much damage to ground when they're in that mode, but they are immobile, so here we go. And we do have all the Banelings rolling in right now. Corrosive Biles coming down on those siege tanks, and it looks like the Corruptors and Muta's going to easily clean up the Liberators.
Yeah, this was a huge win for Maru and SOS. The Liberators weren't siege and they weren't attacking the air units. So this fight, what? They still have more on the ground?
Yeah, it looks like, and it turns out Corruptors don't hit Marines, so this is a little bit harder for Maru and SOS than it was looking like at the beginning of that fight. And more units coming out, going in for this attack, throwing down those Corrosive Biles, and looks like Zest and Life are going to have to retreat.
Yeah, but Maru and SOS, their Mutalisk count is down to 2 now, so they have to completely transition, but they don't really have a bank for a tech switch. Actually, both players are...
They have a Hive, so they are going for Greater Spire, which means that we should be seeing some Broodlords coming up, and with that many Corruptors, that is a good choice, but there's a lot of Marines out, and that many Marines should be able to kill off Broodlords.
Yeah, both teams, such little economy now. Like, and it feels so odd to say that, considering we look at the minimap, both teams are going on to 6 bases.
Look at the look of disbelief for SOS here. He's trying to macro. He's like, where are my minerals? I don't get it. This is...
I'm absolutely loving this reaction.
Well, let's see what they can get done with what they have left over. This is, you know, Legacy of the Void is so much more fast-paced than Heart of the Swarm ever really was. These bases mine out a lot faster. You have to expand to them a lot faster, and a lot of situations can get like this, where you're not really mining that much, and you have to figure out what to do with what units you have left.
Yeah, and it looks like Maru and SOS, instead of going for Ultralisks, they have 9 Corruptors. We might see a big Broodlord push on the Terran side of the map if they can actually move across. This entire game, since just the very opening, has been Zest and Life doing really big pushes, and Maru and SOS trying a lot of really cute harassment, which is actually kind of role reversal. You would expect the Zerg player to be like... You'd expect the Terran player to be doing all the harassment.
Well, that's the thing, right? Maru is the Terran player. He just happens to be playing Zerg here. So he's the one doing all these little harassments all over the place. Really, these guys are showing their styles all over. But here we go, a big engagement coming in, a lot of speed veins rolling down. The Mutas and Corruptors going to be able to take out the medevacs quite quickly, but the ground force is not enough quite yet.
Yeah, and Zest's micro there, he actually had some pretty good Marines, but I was impressed. Okay, maybe I spoke a little bit too soon.
A little bit too soon there for the end, but overwhelming force there for Maru and SOS, who are now getting some Broodlords, and with that reduced Marine count, with only 1 medevac left on this map, I don't know if Zest and Life are going to be able to hold on here.
Yeah, they're producing Liberators now. They're not really going to have the support for their bio that they need. And I think for the first time in maybe 5 or 10 minutes, Maru and SOS actually have a supply lead.
Yeah, and I mean, that's pretty significant right now, especially when you look at the types of units that are left on this map. There are so few Terran units, there are so few medevacs, in fact, none on the map right now, that they can't even heal up the bio. You stim that stuff, that health is not being rehealed. So the Broodlord's going to be super powerful coming up.
But on the other side of things, the Broodlords that they're morphing are really, really slow units. They're immobile, almost like a Protoss death ball. And the Terran is playing such a really heavy bio style that if Maru and SOS move across the map and try and do some big push, Zest and Life could easily just start trading bases. So even though, I say that, and as I say that, Zest and Life actually re-macro back up to supply.
Well, you know, they do have those extra bases in the bottom right, and they have this cool thing called the Mule dropping all over the place, mining a lot of minerals. So definitely recovering their economy, but so is Maru and SOS. This is kind of crazy. It's so back and forth. They keep going from high economy to low economy, then back again, because neither of the teams have the units nor the confidence to kill each other.
Both teams just macroing on 6 bases now. Have some Mutas here. Muta and Ling drop.
Well,
this is a synergy you don't see too often.
You know, these Mutas, with so few Marines around the map, or I guess there's actually quite a few out there, but you have to send enough back that you can actually do this. But the drop of those Zerglings do allow them to actually engage those Marines a little bit longer than expected. But here we go. We do have Terran moving forward towards his top left.
I think this is the first time in the game that Zest and Life actually seen the Broodlord, so this might be catching them by surprise. They just started producing Vikings now, but their medevac count is already so low. I don't think they can afford a drop like this.
Yeah, well, let's see what hits they get, and looks like they will be able to take down some Zerglings here, but not the biggest deal. I think you're right. That might have been a waste of those Widow Mines.
Yeah, Maru's a Terran player, and he's microing. He knows how to make Widow Mines non-effective.
Yeah, certainly the case. Well, with these Broodlords, as you said, it's kind of an immobile army, but it is definitely a strong one. So we're going to have to see, like, how far can Zest and Life run around this map? How can they stay away from that Broodlord Deathball?
And it looks like Zest and Life are going one base up now. This is actually a really interesting point because up until this point, it's been very straightforward how to expand. Maru and SOS are expanding to the west, at the top of the map, and Zest and Life are taking up the bottom of the map, expanding to the east. But now they have to expand towards each other if they want to take another base.
That's right, and in fact, the gold base was just taken by Zest and Life, and it's so hard to call these guys on the which race they are, because I'm
really
like, no, the Terran player is Maru. This is hurting my brain, but. The fact that they took that gold base, this is something that Maru and SOS have to deal with almost immediately. It's just giving them way too much mining going on. The economy of Zest and Life is absolutely fantastic now after taking that gold base.
And it still seems like Maru and SOS aren't going to try and take another base, so it looks like they might just go for one really big push at the gold and try and win the game from that. But this is a planetary fortress, and that's a lot of bio.
And right now, look at that. Oh, I love this. We even see a Cyclone in the mix, probably to help deal with those Broodlords. So we'll see how that works out. We do have a lot of Banelings out on the map right now, though. Ultralisks on the way. The Ultralisk, so powerful in Legacy of the Void. One of the scariest units in the game now. But that's a lot of Liberators to help deal with it.
I feel like if Zest and Life don't push, if they just hold, they're going to be in such a great position later on, but already their bank is so much higher, and it looks like they want to go for the engagement.
Uh-oh, that's a lot of Broodlings right there. They are going to go ahead and force back those Broodlords for the time being. And in fact, look at this, running in the opposite direction of all the other units here of Zerg. Going to have to wrap around into this front natural.
So many Broodlords.
See what they can get done. A lot of Corruptors up there in the front to try to take out these Vikings, moving forward with those Banelings, and the Banelings starting to connect. A lot of the Marines being taken out, some of them being split nicely towards the back, but this army looks to be too strong for Maru and SOS.
But at the same time, at the Zerg 5th base, and they still don't have, or the Zerg 6th base, my god, Legacy of the Void. The Zerg 6th base, it's going down, and Maru and SOS, they have almost no input at this point. They won the fight, but it seems like they're losing the war.
They've got the stronger army for sure, but just the fact that Zest and Life are all over the place and have such a solid economy with that gold base is making it really hard for them to be able to do anything. You can't even go to finish because, as you were saying earlier, State, a counterattack will come, and you'll just start losing all of your bases.
And at the same time, Zest and Life taking another expansion, while Maru and SOS trying to get some grasp of income, but the worker count is even, but Maru and SOS, they just don't have the mining bases.
Certainly not, but they are moving forward now. Here they go after this gold base. This is going to be very hard to actually defend. This Sky Army super strong right now for Maru and SOS. Some Vikings coming up. The Queens and Corruptors, though, should be able to deal with those for the time being.
But at the same time, Zest and Life canceling another hatchery. The gold base hatchery is going to be so hard to take for Zest and Life for Maru and SOS. Because on one hand, Maru and SOS, they want to be punishing the Terran's gold base. But at the same time, it's so hard with the immobile Broodlords to actually take the new expansions on their side of the map.
Yeah, you can't attack and defend with a Broodlord army at the same time. You really can only do one because you need a lot of units supporting the Broodlords. Because alone, they die very quickly, but with other units around to actually support them,
and another
they're super strong.
Cancel.
Oh, man. Well, a couple Ultras coming up. They're pretty strong and do force a lift up on these units. That gold base being taken now by Maru and SOS. Realizing they might need a base that's a little bit closer to be able to hold on.
And while Maru and SOS, their army is so powerful. They're almost 50 army supply down now, just from the extra expansions that Zest and Life have. They're up 2 bases, which is a really, really big deal.
That is true, but a lot of this supply goes into Vikings, and just like the Heart of the Swarm, trailer sequence, Vikings just don't do it against Ultras. So the more Ultras I see made, the more I believe that Maru and SOS may be able to pull this out despite this huge deficit in supply.
Yeah, their army composition is so powerful. And even the Vikings, even though they have such a high Viking count, the creep spread of Maru and SOS is so good.
And look at this now, a lot of Vikings here trying to go head-to-head against these Corruptors. The Corruptors having to run away. The Queen's coming in to try to give some support. But if these Vikings kill all of the air, this game will definitely go to Zest and Life.
Yeah, and the Vikings are still kiting the Corruptors. So many Corruptors going down now.
Yeah, it looks
I
like
feel
those
like-
Corruptors, a lot of transfusions coming down. In the meantime, we do have these Ultras coming forward, going after these Marines. That high armor really working out for them, cutting through so much right now.
And the Ultras are doing so much damage. Zest and Life are up 50 army supply, but at the end of the day, they lose the battle.
Oh, man, and
I
look
think,
at that.
I think during all of that, Maru and SOS haven't lost a single Broodlord, but they did lose another base.
They did. They really don't lose too many of their units, but their bases continue to fall. But look at this, a huge Viking advantage, allowing right now for Zest and Life to kill off that air army, and that is really, really important right now.
Yeah, so many hatcheries going down now. The gold base is going to fall, but it's almost mined out already.
Yeah, it looks like he might lose an Ultralisk as well. Oh, never mind. That guy has like 7 armies, fine. But he's going to be able to get out of here, perhaps. Yeah, does get out of the way of that Widowmine. In the meantime, those Vikings trying to do some harassment at that gold base.
Trying to deny another hatchery. Right now, Maru and SOS have gone from 7 bases to just having God, how many is it on the map? 4 hatcheries? Trying to build a 5th?
Maru and SOS right now do not even have 15 minerals to their name. Okay, they are really super broke right now. And they have to get all their drones to that gold base if they are to win this game. But it looks like still some mining going on. Smiley face coming out here.
Easy. Easy.
Life with a lot of trash talk. Looks like they are going after this hatchery. Such an important hatchery, just trying to target it down at the moment. It looks like these Ultras and Broodlords going to be able to fight back against this ground army. The ground army is still much stronger here for Maru and SOS. Some good micro going down, though, by these Marines and Marauders.
Yeah, but the Ultras are so powerful. The Broodlords may have fallen, but the Ultras remain.
Looks like some Spore Crawlers coming out to help out against these
The
landed
Vikings.
Vikings going to have to go ahead and fly away here.
This terrain, it's going to be so hard for the Ultras to actually connect with the bio. They're so good in a straight-up fight, but as you can see,
the dancing going down on these Ultralisks, and I do think that that is going to be the end of the game.
does look like it. I've never seen anything quite like this.
No, certainly not. Look how many dances it took for those to actually kill Ultralisks, by the way.
my
That's pretty
God.
funny. But GG is called, and it looks
Wow.
like Zest and Life gonna take that game number 1.
And that game was so back and forth.
Yeah.
So back and forth.
That was seriously a nice game. Some great control there by Zest. Life, on the other hand, his defense of the mineral lines was a little bit lacking at times.
It was a little bit lacking at times. We have to consider, you guys watching at home, if you thought that game was awesome, consider that these players off races. Nobody on the Terran side of the team plays Terran. Nobody on the Zerg side of the team plays Zerg. So
Yeah, the real games are about to start.
the real
okay?
games. That was just a warm up.
Yeah, we're going to see these guys playing their specialty races coming up in this next game. It's going to be a Zerg versus Protoss with KT playing Zerg and Jin Air playing Protoss. So that's SOS and Maru playing Protoss, which is kind of fun because, you know, how is Maru going to deal with what SOS gives him? And then, of course, on KT, Life and Zest, with Life being kind of the macro player here for that Zerg.
I really don't know who's going to take it. Going into this match, I thought for sure Zest and Life were going to be like the clear favorites.
Yeah.
And they did win that game, but
Yeah.
it was so close.
It was
that
super
was tooth
close.
and nail.
It absolutely could have gone either way. I think that what really ended up happening is Zest did enough multitasking. He picked off enough hatcheries because every time we saw battle, it was like Zerg won the battle, and then you're like, oh, but he lost a hatchery over here.
Yeah. And it was so hard for the Zerg player to take their, what was that, the 7th base?
Yes.
The
1,
critical-
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That critical 7th base
The
was
critical
so hard to
7th
hold.
base. They couldn't hold it.
Never said that before. Been casting StarCraft for 9 years or something. Never said that critical 7th base. But here we are, Legacy of the Void. Brand new expansion, brand new style of play.
You know, and it does really sound crazy to say because that was the 7th base. But as far as navigating their army compositions and taking the fights, SOS and Maru, like, they were winning. It was just they couldn't defend that one extra base.
Yeah.
The game really didn't turn into the KT side's favor until they got the extra mining up, and even then it was so close.
Well, you know, part of it, I think, has to do with their unit composition as well. They didn't really go mutas until later in the game, and then even when they went mutas, that was during a portion of the game where they were constantly under attack. And then they went into Broodlords, and that's the least mobile. You can't defend everywhere on the map if you go Broodlords. It's just impossible.